Welcome, artists, to part 3 of our album cover, an extension of our intro to Photopea. We've gone over layers, the free transform tool, the move tool. Now let's go over a quintessential classic, the eraser tool, right? Now, there are smart ways and smarter ways to work with the eraser tool. So what I need to do now, if I zoom in, you can see that I've got, of course, my brick background behind this photo of myself. And I want to clean away all that gray background to expose the wall so it looks like I'm in that room. I'm DJing in that club. To do it though, I can go to the eraser tool at left here and know that I can change the radius of it right here. You can see, well, not helping. I got to make certain the correct layer is selected. So this top layer. There we go. Now it's working. If I want to take larger swaths of area away, I can just increase that radius or click, bring it down and do really small surgical work, right? Well, before I do that really very microscopic, specific, careful editing around the silhouette, it would probably help me to just get the bulk of that gray pulled away. So I'm going to use the magic wand tool. Now, that is a tool that's generally hidden. It's up here, but like a lot of tools, there's just not enough room to cram them all in. So you see these little arrows pointing down to the right? Well, that means there are more tools hidden underneath. Click and hold down your left button. Bam! Magic wand tool. Looks like a classic Harry Potter wand right there, right? Now, when I click the gray with it, you can see that it's created this lasso selection. Now, it's pretty smart. Like, it knows I want to get rid of this gray. It knows I want to highlight it because I clicked on a gray pixel. So it's including as many gray pixels or grayish pixels in my selection as I'm telling it to. And when you ask, well, how are you telling it? Like, what do you mean? So notice that it's also selecting a lot of my flesh in my hand. I'm being too generous in the selection. So let's go back to that magic wand tool. I'm clicking on it. Notice that it says tolerance. Right now it's at 50. Tolerance is a measure of just how tolerant I want it to be, just how generous I want it to be in selecting gray pixels or pixels of any color I click. So if I say bump it up to 150 and I click, you'll notice it's now selecting everything. So that's too generous. Let me go down to just 10. Well, now it's getting some grays, but it's stopping when it gets a little darker, a little more shadow covered on the left. I want to find a happy medium, so let's go to 40 for now. Better. Now, if I hold Shift, I can select multiple things. Like right now, multiple grays. Now that's too much because right now I'm getting it in my hand. I'm going to click Control Z and just undo that last thing. Now, I've got a good chunk selected. Let me hit delete. Bam. I just saved myself a lot of time. Now I can go in and zoom in by hand. I'll just click this little tool to confirm my deletion, my selection there. And let's keep zooming in. I go to my little zoom tool right here on the lower left, click in, and I can, of course, control if I zoom out by clicking this negative tab or positive to zoom in. Now, I want to get really close because I'm going to do some really careful surgery. This is probably too big of an eraser, so let me adjust that radius again, bring it down, and then I can go in and I can do very careful editing. And if it helps, because that gray brick is really similar to my hair, well, let's just click the background eye right here so that layer disappears. When we close the eye, we can't see it, but it's still there. Now it's easier to see what I want to keep and what I want to get rid of thanks to that higher contrast, okay? So then I can go in and I can adjust the size of my eraser and just try to do some really careful cleanup. Now I want to do this on every layer where I'm going to be, wanting to preserve some parts of the image and get rid of the rest as I combine them, okay? So take your time. It behooves you not to rush. Being careful is the secret to seamless editing, and that's the goal.